Happy National Coming Out Day, everybody. I had actually forgot that this day was coming up, and then a little over, well, almost a week ago on my time hop from 5 years ago, I had apparently posted an update that said, well, apparently National Coming Out Day is coming a few days early this year, and it brought back all of the memories from coming out to my mother, which was why I had posted that. I had come out to friends between a year and 2 years before that to my tribe, and had built up a support system around myself because you hear so many just heartbreaking, tragic, sad like stories of people coming out and getting completely rejected based on their sexual orientation or their gender identity or both. Uh, so I was terrified whenever I came out, and it wound up being okay. I mean, it wasn't welcomed with like open arms. Oh, we're so happy, but I didn't get rejected either. And like some kids, some people get completely just like shoved out of their families' lives based on that, and I didn't, and I'm so thankful for that. A lot has changed since I came out to my mom. I had just gotten into a relationship when I came out, and yeah, I probably would have done that different. Like, if I could go back and do that again, I probably would have done that different. But, oh well, it is what it is. But, man, I've learned so much about myself and so much about people, good and bad, pretty and ugly. Like, you see all aspects of it. You see all aspects of it anyway, but whenever you really put yourself out there and you're like, hey, this is who I am, and you're proud of who you are. Not that you have to go out like puking rainbows everywhere. Of course, I think we all do when we first come out, because it's just such a freeing like release of all this stuff. And for me, like, that's something that I had been carrying around with me for a long time. So whenever I finally came out, I was just like, yeah, for a few months. And and I'm like, yeah, okay, like, whatever. You kind of like settle into it, and it is what it is. But I had built this tribe around myself, this support system, so that if I was rejected by my family, I wouldn't be alone, because that was the last thing that I needed. I think that's the last thing we all need when we come out. Like, we all just want to be accepted and loved for who we are and our honest, like, authentic, true selves. And it's so important. And for me, I had to have that safety net of people in my life before I could do that with people who mean the most to me. Luckily, most of my family has stuck around. Most of my family, whether or not they really agree with it or understand it, they haven't shut me out. They haven't completely rejected me. Like, at first, like, it was worse than it is now. Now I've been out for like 5 years, so they're kind of dealing with it, because it used to be it used to be like, oh, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna pray for you, and pray the gay way, because we all know that works so well, right? No. And I was like, okay, like, you can pray for me, that's appreciated, because we can all use some prayers, man. Like, I'm not gonna tell you not to pray for me, but if you're praying specifically for me to not be gay, like, okay, let me know how that works out for you. And so I think they've all kind of come around to where they're at least tolerant of it. Even if they don't accept it, they're tolerant of it, because they know that trying to tell me that I'm wrong or whatever, they know that's not going to work. Because most of them have tried it. A few of them from the very beginning have been like, yeah, like, we love you and we have your back, and like, you're still Heather and whatever. So that's been pretty awesome. Those people. There's a couple that I don't talk to anymore, that I talk to very selectively, and very much like a surface thing, but at the end of the day, I still love them. They're still my family, whether they accept me or not. I don't hang out with them, because I don't like hanging out with people who are obviously awkward around me. Like, who does? Who wants that? So overall, my experience of coming out and also evolving in myself since I've come out, and realizing some other things about regarding gender identity and stuff. Realizing that stuff, and kind of just in the last few months kind of come full circle and really gotten to this place where I'm like, all right, this is who I am, because I've known since I was 5 or 6 years old that I like girls. Like, I didn't really understand it, because that's before you're all like, your hormones start going, you understand all that sexy stuff. And then dealing with that and being in the middle of the Bible Belt and trying to deal with the fact that, wait, like, all my friends like boys. I have no attraction to boys. So that means that I'm gay. And then you throw in growing up in church to that, like, being gay is wrong. But wait, but I can't control this because I've dealt with this for like 10 years, Just that whole process of really realizing who I was and not really accepting it at all until I was like 25, 26 years old. And then coming out when I was 20, how old was I? 28? Yeah, I was 28 when I came out to my mom. Coming out when you're 28 and then being in a relationship and then that relationship ending when I was 32 and on top of all my health stuff all at the same time. All of that just kind of made me be like, okay, like why? Because I came with all my health stuff, like I came really close to dying, and you don't really understand it till you've been there. Because I've heard people say, like being that close to dying, like has changed my life. And I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But now I've been there, and I understand why people say that, because whenever after I had surgery, the doctor was like, you were just like 2 or 3 days away from dying, and that hit me hard. It was like somebody punching me in the chest, and it took me a couple weeks. Sorry, there's a bug. It took me a couple weeks to really let that sink in, where I got off the morphine, enough to get it out of my system and everything, for that to really sink in. And then I just spent a week crying, like, because I was like, man, there's so much stuff that I want to do, and there's so many things about myself that I'm working on, and I'm realizing, and I'm changing, and I'm trying to be a better person, and I'm trying to love people unconditionally, and I'm trying to accept myself and forgive myself for things that I've done, things that I've internalized, things that I've been through, and whatever. And that I came that close to not being able to have a resolution with myself, with other people in my life, that I possibly could have not had the chance to be honest with how I was feeling in my relationship and being fair to myself and getting out of that relationship. That's heavy, man. That is a heavy thing. And so since then, the last 3 or 4 months especially, once I got healed from my surgery and, got back to work, kind of, moved back home from having to stay with my parents and getting back into my routine and really working on myself and working on accepting myself where I am and loving myself where I am, and also being honest and open, excuse me, and transparent with people in my life that mean so much to me, letting them into that side of me too. Like, it was almost like coming out again, like everybody knew that I liked girls, and not everybody, a lot of people knew, that I'm pretty androgynous, like I really am. But like having that transparency and talking about everything that I'd been feeling for so long with people has really just changed my life. Like, changed my life in such a big way. My relationships with people now are so rich, and they're so full, and they're so complete. Like, I never realized how much of a surface relationship I had with a lot of people in my life. And I wore like different masks for different people based on who I thought they needed me to be, or who I needed to be around them, or what was acceptable to them and what wasn't, like hide parts of myself and then show parts of myself. And then for other people, it'd be different. And so whenever I went through all that with my health and everything and got back, I was just like, I'm not doing that anymore. It takes way too much energy to pretend to be somebody I'm not. Like, You're either going to meet me where I'm at, you're going to be part of this thing, or you're not. Because everybody's getting the same me, you know, and I'm trying not to have people in my life at a close proximity that I can't be completely open and honest with. And I started a blog where I'm, you know, pretty open about things that I feel. I'm doing this YouTube thing. I'm kind of dabbling in a podcast. I haven't really done it in a while, but just because I don't want to hide, and I don't want to become internalized again, because I shut myself off from everybody for so long, and now I'm just like, that's dumb, because I know that there's a lot of people out there going through the same things that I've either gone through or things that I am going through. Because whenever you grow up being told that being anything outside of this little box is bad or a sin or unhealthy or, you know, whatever. When you're told that for so many years of your life, and then you realize that here's the box and you're over here somewhere, like, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to come out to people and be like, hey, so I know you've known me as this way for 28 years, but here I am, and this is the honest truth about myself. Like, deal with it, you know? And I had to be patient with my parents, my mom especially, because I had to realize that it had taken me, you know, whatever, so many years to get to that point where I was okay with me. And I can't expect people to be okay with me right when I tell them the truth, you know? And as awesome as it is to come out, because it is, like, it's just the most freeing thing ever, and also the most terrifying thing ever. But you can't expect people to be like, oh yeah, like, okay, cool. Because in some way, they have to kind of grieve the loss of the hopes and dreams I had for you. Speaking about my, you know, your parents, especially. My parents, my mom. She had to kind of go through that grieving process of things that she had thought she would get to experience with me for my whole life, you know? And it's not that I can't get married. It's not that I can't have kids. It's just not going to be in a conventional way if it happens, you know? Like, and that's just something that she's had to deal with. But yeah, so if you're coming out, if you've come out today, because it's nighttime now, but like, so proud of you. And if you're struggling with it, you know, social networking is a beautiful thing when it comes to getting a support team. If you don't have people that you're friends with, like in close proximity, like me, I went online and found support groups and made friends online so that I did have an even stronger network of people around me to fall back on should I need them. It is the coolest thing ever. Like, technology, social networking, it's such an amazing thing. It can be amazing and it can be really bad. But that is one super amazing thing about it. Like, you can go on and you can make friends who understand, who have been there or who are there going through it with you, you know, and dealing with that. And it's so cool. But love yourself, man. Love yourself. Don't feel ashamed for who you are, because who you are is a beautiful person, regardless of how you identify or who you love. You know, it's one thing I don't understand is why people shame people for being able to love. Like, everybody's capable of love. Everybody is deserving of love. Everybody should have that unconditional love. And I have so many awesome people in my life right now that are just so supportive and so loving and caring and giving. And like, it's just a really awesome thing once you find those people who are going to be ride or die, you know, like they're going to be there, thick, thin, good, bad, you know, everything. It's so awesome. So, yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. And I'm just so thankful for how far I've come in the last 5 years and how much coming out and being true to myself has changed my life, especially in the past few months. Like, it's been amazing. And I encourage all of you, like, if you're struggling with it, even if you don't come out to those closest to you, like, get on and network with people and make friends and embrace your journey, because we all have journeys, whether we're gay, straight, bi, trans, any variation thereof, you know, it doesn't matter. We all have our own journeys, and we all just need to love each other more and quit being so divided. among ourselves. But anyway, so that's all I have to say for now about that. But I wanted to wish everybody a great, wonderful National Coming Out Day. Such an awesome day to be alive. Until next time.